Hello everyone, TarantulaDan here. I'd like to thank you for taking the time for checking out my channel, and of course this video, as always, I do appreciate you taking the time to do so. So in this video I'm going to be discussing a topic that quite literally divides those in the hobby, and I wanted to talk about this. It has been requested an awful lot over the last few years, in fact, across all my social media. When I'm on Discord it gets brought up, and even when I'm at the reptile shows, people come up to me and ask me what is my opinion on this particular subject, and that is the handling of invertebrates. So I'm going to just put it all together and call it invertebrates rather than sort of going on to tarantulas and scorpions and true spiders and things, but you get the idea, and the reasons will be the same with most of them, but I will focus more on tarantulas for this vlog, shall we say. So the handling of inverts is something, as I just said, it does divide pretty much everyone in the hobby. There is a fence down the middle, and either you're for handling or you're against, and there are kind of a few people that are okay with certain things and not others. So I want to kind of give the views of both sides as to why they believe that, and then I'll give you my opinion on it and explain why I have this view, and hopefully this will answer the questions for those of you that have been asking it. So there's two sides when it comes to handling of inverts. Those people that are for and those that are against. I'll start off with the against argument, shall we say. Not really an argument, but the against view, shall I say. And the reason why most people are against the handling of inverts is very, very simple. Number one, I will demonstrate this with a bar of soap that I'm not going to say stole. I went to a hotel and it was there and I took it. I paid to the hotel room, so it's fine. Anyway, this bar of soap will demonstrate what a spider does. When it is on your hand, as you can see here, the amount of affection that I get from handling this bar of soap is nothing. And the level of enjoyment and affection that is given from the bar of soap because of me handling it is also still zero. They don't get any enjoyment from being handled. If you have a cat or a dog or a ferret, or to be fair, even to some extent, Ramsey, my bearded dragon, you know, I get her out and it should be pretty chill. Cats and dogs will look at you with those loving eyes of warmth and trust, and the tails are wagging and cats are purring. It's all wonderful. Spiders don't do any of that. They're on your hand, they just sit there and they're probably thinking, why have you got me out? I want to go back to where it's safe in my den or my burrow or whatever. So yeah, number one, they get no enjoyment from being handled at all whatsoever. Number two, most people who keep inverts believe that they are something to be observed. So for example, like that of a fish. You buy a fish, you get it set up in its aquarium, you sit and you look at it, you feed it and you breed it, or you do whatever you do when you have fish, and you get your enjoyment from that. You do not put your hand into a fish tank and pick up a fish and have it flopping around on your hand. That, you know, you just don't do that. And a lot of people see spiders in the same way. They prefer to observe them, and I agree with that. I can kind of see that. The third reason, and this is actually probably the most important, at least from my point of view on this side of the fence, for why they don't like handling inverts, and that is that inverts, although they look very strong and sort of stable and kind of stocky, they are so fragile. Literally, you know, the same as an egg. You know, you drop an egg from a height, it's going to crack, it's going to break. You have a spider or tarantula and you drop it, it will break, it will, you know, you will rupture it, the spider will die. Very, very simple. And when I'm talking about a drop, I'm not talking about from like, you know, like sort of 6 foot like up here. I'm talking from even just several inches. A fall from a very small height can cause death to inverts, which is why, you know, if you are going to handle, I'm not saying to do that, but for those that do, usually they say to keep your hands low so that it ain't going to fall off, but that's different. So I can completely understand that. And the other thing as well is that if you are handling the spider and it happens to bite you, obviously, you know, this is all to do with damage, shall we say, and damage in this area covers a wide area, a spectrum of things. So firstly, if it bites you, there's damage to you, you are hurt. That ain't very good. Also, if you were to get bit while it is on your hand, your natural reaction would probably be to fling it off, in which case the spider hits the ceiling and goes splat. It hits the wall and goes splat, or it falls to the floor and goes splat. If it falls to the floor and it doesn't die and it doesn't break any legs, then it's going to crawl off and stresses the spider out. It ain't good. Not only that, but there is like a bit of a myth which I'm creating right here and now. You heard it here first, but if you get bit by a tarantula, they say that within about, I say within about 15 seconds you will have the Daily Star or the Sun newspaper or some tabloid knocking on your door for a story, and you'll say, oh, I got bit by my my Grammosola rosea, and it's fine, it's just a little bit of a wound and it's like a bee sting, I'll be fine, you know. And the next day in the paper it's man gets eaten by giant tarantula, arm falls off, family flee the house gets burned down, street is evicted, and there's uproar. And so yeah, I mean, obviously that is slightly exaggerated for what happened, but genuinely, you know, whenever you see spiders in the newspaper, it's never good. And so if you handle a spider, like I said, you get bit, you get hurt, you risk the media getting involved in things, which they never show spiders in a good light, which is a real shame. Obviously you can injure the spider and it just damages the hobby, which is one of the main things that those of us that are in the hobby, we don't want spiders in the media bad way. If you can start people showing spiders, this spider is fine, and spiders are wonderful and lovely, and look how beautiful this spider is, look how you know, clever they are when they construct their webs and their dens and their hides, and you know how complex they are. It's fantastic. But papers aren't interested in that. All they want to know is someone's been bit. Some, you know, let's sensationalise on this. Let's make a a headline. So those are the reasons why people do not like, you know, spiders and invertebrates to be handled, and I can completely understand that. I know you might say, well, hang on a minute, you know, you handle things, but you know, the thing is with me, as I will go into a little bit, you know, as I'll explain this shortly, but I'm not the same now as I was many years ago when I first started on YouTube. So that's the people that are against. Not the people, but this is my opinion on why I think people are against the handling of tarantulas. If you disagree with me, please post below in the comments and let me know. So for the people that are for spiders, and I could probably speak about this one better from personal experience, because of course, as you may or may not know, if you're not a long-term subscriber, you may not know, but I used to sort of handle everything. People say, can you handle this, can you do a handling video of this, and I would do it. I have handled everything in my collection, apart from one thing, which is the Scolopendra gigantea, the giant white leg centipede, or the Amazonian centipede, because I'm not an idiot. You know, that thing bites me. There's a video that Brave Wilderness just did where he got bit by one, he's in agony. I can't be doing with that. You know, I've got videos to make and work and other things. I don't have time to be like dying. So yeah, I used to handle all of my animals, and for me, the reasons why I would say about being for handling of tarantulas are different things. Like I said, you don't get any sort of enjoyment from it as such, but it is cool to get, you know, to look at them sort of close. And for me, it was all about showing that they are not aggressive. They are not out to hurt you, to bite you. You know, when you see a dog, people go, oh, well, isn't it cute, isn't it lovely, or same as a cat or anything like that. You mention a spider, and straight away, the very first thing that people say, actually no, it's one of two things. Firstly, does it bite? And of course the answer to that is yes, because every single spider can bite. Every dog and cat and human and everything can bite. And the second question is it poisonous? Which really pisses me off, because of course spiders are not poisonous. I don't know why you'd want to eat a spider, but you know, that's a different video. So yeah, but straight away it's, will it bite you? Will it hurt me? And I used to do my handling videos of all of my things to say that yes, these spiders might look scary, or even sort of, you know, scorpions and things like that, whatever it was I've handled, they might look scary or threatening, but actually once you understand them, they are not that scary. They are not out to hurt you. There's that whole saying that it is more scared of you than you are of it, and I completely I believe that. You know, you get them out and, you know, they just want to go back into their enclosure. They don't want to be handled, they don't want to be pestered and things like that. So, but for me, it was all about showing people that they are not a major threat to you. Now of course there is the whole thing, then you can expand on that and say, well, what about old worlds and new worlds? You know, that's where, you know, it then goes into a different argument, because I don't mind handling new world tarantulas. I say that, I mean, that doesn't mean I do it all the time, but you know, if I have people around and they want me to say, oh, can you handle, or you know, can you show us a tarantula, can you get one out? Yeah, absolutely. But the first one that I will go for is either like something like an avic, or you know, Wipifora, or Caribona, or of course you've got things like the Brachypalma or the Grammostola, not Rosea or Portrait, they are unpredictable, but the Grammostola pulchra is my example, my shining example of a docile tarantula. So yeah, you know, I would get one of those out. I would never think for my first time introducing someone to handling a spider, think, right, let's get a pokey out, you know, or let's get a Ceratogyrus, you know, or Plinobetius, or Twinochalis. You just don't do that. You know, there are certain spiders that are a good example of, yes, this spider's going to hurt you, and then there are those that actually are a really bad example and that you just shouldn't tamper with. But then that's the same as dogs. You know, you get something like a Labrador, yeah, it's fine to stroke. You get something like you know, foaming at the mouth, like a pit bull. I mean, I feel bad using pit bulls because they aren't that bad. I like pit bulls, but or Staffy, for example, they get a lot of bad rep as well, and yet most of them are fine. So that's kind of sort of going off the track a little bit. So yeah, for some of us there are reasons why it's acceptable in some cases to handle tarantulas. I never want to encourage spiders, and as I say, the reason that this is important to talk about now is because there are a lot of new people coming into the hobby, and when they go onto YouTube and they type in tarantula, they'll get a selection of videos. You get your feeding videos, your breeding videos, you know, your unboxing videos, and you know, your care sheets and rehousings and things. That's fine, that's wonderful. But then you also get two other kinds of videos on YouTube. They are the handling videos, of actually which I'm guilty of being one of the main people that will come up if you type in handling a tarantula, or you get the fierce videos of people using tarantulas for pranks, again making them out to be more scary than what they actually are. And that's not something that, you know, it's not good. You know, if someone was doing that with like a dog, if someone was scared of a dog and someone was running around trying to scare someone with it, that'd be cruel. But with spiders it's fine apparently. So yeah, you get these new people that come into the hobby, they go onto YouTube, they look up tarantulas, and suddenly they go, oh, you know, there's so and so, you know, there's Dan Oakley or whatever, you know, handling a tarantula. Oh, I've just got one, I'm going to handle mine. And then that goes into, they get picked up and they get bit, or the spider gets flung to the floor, the newspapers get involved. And, you know, I don't want to encourage people to handle their spiders, and it's where my opinion has changed an awful lot over the, you know, the last few years, because I'm on the fence still. I mean, I kind of am very, there is a time and a place for doing so, and there is a way to do it correctly. But as a whole, how many handling videos do you see me do now? And the reason why it's very simple is because I enjoy them like fish. I enjoyed observing them and feeding them and doing everything, and just not getting them out all the time and stressing them out and putting them in harm more importantly than myself, because I don't want any, all of my spiders are special to me. Whether they're something like my, you know, my Lassiodora Power High Band that cost me about £1, literally about, I think I paid like £1 for, you know, 10 years ago or whatever, right up to my T. Solodonia, they cost me £400. You know, it doesn't matter how much that spider cost, it's something that I do not want to cause any harm to, and that I get enjoyment from owning, and I want to keep it alive for as long as I can, and that's why I tend to just observe them. That said, I mean, there is times when I will sort of handle them if I need to move spiders from one enclosure to another. You know, I don't mind picking them up to move them, or let's say when people come around, I will get mine out. Certain ones, and always New World tarantulas. If you don't know all the difference in that and you would like me to explain, I'd be more than happy to do so. But yeah, it's always New World spiders that I get out to demonstrate to people that actually these are not aggressive, they aren't going to hurt you. I was in London at the beginning of December. I did the interview with Francis Lee, and he covered it fantastically. Hey, Ramsey. He called it fantastically, sorry, when we're talking about Fenucia spiders, the Brazilian runner spider, and he said that whenever you look at the Fenucia, or the armed spider as they call it, it's always got its legs up, it's got its fangs out, because people poke it with sticks and they piss it off, and that is the reputation that it has. And what he's trying to prove is that actually if you are respectful of spiders and invertebrates, that they behave like any other animal, like a dog. You know, if you stroke a dog and you're gentle with it and, you know, you leave it be, it's fine. If you go up to a dog and keep tapping it and poking it and then eventually it's going to turn around, it's going to bite you. And you can extend that to pretty much every human being. I don't know who you are, but if I came up to you and started sort of poking you in the side or giving you a smack or, you know, purposely trying to piss you off, how long would it be before you turn around and either lost your temper or punch me or bite me if you want to bite, you know. Everything is the same, and that is one thing that I still want to try and get across to people, that they aren't going to hurt you. And I am looking at going into the more educational side of keeping these animals, care sheets, care guides, the do's and don'ts of owning these animals, because there are lots of do's and don'ts. It is very important. So that is kind of my view on it. I hope this has kind of answered some questions on it. There is no right or wrong answer. There is no law or rule book as such. It is purely a case of, I think you should do this or I think you shouldn't. That's it. And then it's up to yourself as a keeper to make an educated decision, one with common sense, because you've got to be willing, you know, you must understand that, you know, these animals can cause you harm, and some of them, you know, will cause you more harm. Some of these will cause you more harm than others, and so you have to be very careful and very respectful of these animals. You know, the second that you don't treat them right, and you let your guard down or whatever, they'll have you. You know, there's a lot to it. And you know, in the past with me, I was talking to Peter Kirk from the BTS over email recently, a few weeks ago, and I sort of explained how I was to him, and looking back at the way that I was quite idiotic that I was doing the things that I was doing without fully understanding the animal that I was sort of dealing with. And that has came from, I would say, from experience. The way that I am now is that from, let's say, through owning these animals over the years that I have, and like I said, I've handled everything in the way that you know, I do kind of like to think I have a bit of an understanding as to how they will react, and the way to go out doing it safely. Back then, I don't think I did, and so I can understand why some people probably got quite irritated with me doing what I was doing on YouTube, when, you know, I think looking back, if I could sit down with myself and say, you know, what would I say to myself as a new keeper? I'd be like, look, you know, ease upon that, you don't fully know what you're getting yourself into. I've been lucky in my time owning these animals. I've never been bit. I've had reactions from urticating hairs, but that does happen. That's just one of those things. But I've never been bit. You know, but I would hate to see a new keeper, you know, buy a spider and get bit. I don't want to see anyone get hurt owning this. I want people, especially the new people that are keeping these animals, to buy them, observe them. I want them to get, if they can get a fraction of the enjoyment out of owning their animals that I get from mine, then you'll have a fantastic time owning them, so long as you do it safely and respectfully. So that is my view on handling of invertebrates. To say, I'm not for it, I'm not against. There is a time and a place to do so long as it's done carefully and with, you know, with the care and respect, and I guess the knowledge of how to do so safely. I wouldn't recommend handling of any kind of invertebrate to anyone that is maybe only just starting to keep these animals. So yeah, I hope this video has been somewhat informative to you. I hope I've answered the question and hopefully given reasons for it. Please, obviously, if you're watching this video, let me know what you think below. Are you for or against handling of tarantulas? If so, why? And you know, if you have experiences you'd like to share with me, feel free to do so. I will be keeping an eye on the comments try to answer all the questions. And of course, if you have any more questions that you'd like me to mention in a vlog form like this, as always, let me know in the comments below. I will add it to my list of videos that I'm working on, and I'll get it filmed as soon as possible for you. So with that said, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please take care of yourselves. If you have any animals, take care of them. And yeah, thank you for watching my video. Take care. I'll see you all soon in the next video.